Hey, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to all those folks across the world, and welcome to another Conversations with Geoff, right? It's a beautiful Tuesday here in Houston, Texas, and we want to thank everybody for taking the time to share with us. I got a couple of things popping up on my screen. Let me see. All right, they're gone. So anyhow, back to who knows what shows up on this thing, right? So if you keep me doing that, just stick there with me, right? So, and thank you for those of you that have been following us along the way, and for all you folks that come in and watch the replay. Make sure you put hashtag replay in there if you would. That would be awesome. And for you new people, hey, listen, you are in for a treat, right? I mean, all I got to tell you is that not only the show, but our guests. We were back in the back chatting, and we just had just a powerful conversation, and the time we had in 5 or 10 minutes. So, just be prepared to take some good notes and participate in the chat. And again, if you're watching the replay, come in, hashtag replay, and then let us know where you're from, who you are, and then show some love to our guest, right? And you folks that are following us, you guys know that when you hop on, just to drop in and say hi, and then really let's just get busy showing some love to our speaker, right? So anyway, and many of you know me as a real estate investor. I'm kind of known as the king of rehabs, right? My name is Geoff Tyson. I'm the host of Conversations with Geoff. And the whole thing about how Conversations with Geoff came along, because we do talk about business, we do talk about real estate coaching and development. So if you're looking for that opportunity and you're tired of all the information out there, you're really looking for somebody that can give you a clear, simple path that's going to save you time, help you avoid losing money and staying frustrated because there's so many things that you don't know in this business, like any business, then check us out, Conversations with Geoff, and then you can register for a meeting on the real estate side. So anyhow, while we were talking about jobs and projects, there were so many investors that would come along, right, that were like, man, how is mind trash? Because listen, a lot of people watch HGTV and they get all excited about, I'm going to go buy a house. I'm going to be a rehab person. I'm going to go do all these things. And they forget a couple key things. One, they don't have the training or experience to actually do a rehab. Or two, they don't have time to do it. Or three, they don't have anybody to help them, right? So a lot of times they buy these houses that really don't have any business buying it, and then they're stuck. I mean, that's a painful feeling, right? I think about it for a minute. You got this. Sometimes people will use their college kids' education money. They do different things to do this, and now what are they going to do? They're stuck. They can't get it figured out, and they come to us. And the whole thing, not only in real estate, but in marriage and in business and in health, whatever you pick, the mindset is the key thing. And that conversation we have with ourselves about ourselves is critical, right? And so I like to think how we change the conversation with ourselves about ourselves is the greatest gift we can give ourselves. Write that one down, baby. Right? Because, think about it. Well, how did you wake up this morning? How many of you woke up this morning saying, yippee, happy Tuesday, I'm ready to go. Yeah, doing the jig. I see Karen in the background doing this. Or how many of you woke up like I did and kind of didn't, I didn't get up like that. It took a minute, right? And I practice this stuff all the time. So my point is that it takes effort. Right, but I hit the reset button and finally got to where I am today because I want to show up here and deliver our message, right? And let me say this. Today is June 21st, and guess what? It's the first day of summer, technically, and more importantly, it's our marketing director's birthday today. So let's all say happy birthday to Steph. Yay, happy birthday. She makes all these things happen, right? I mean, without her, I don't know where I would be. So I really want to say happy birthday to you and appreciate all you do for us. So anyhow, I have a couple quick things and I'm going to get to our speaker, right? Because, you guys know that when you see this, you have some homework. So one of the things, here's a message that, we just came back from Father's Day weekend and had a great time. Went to San Antonio and my wife's, our daughter's, her husband's family came. So we went in and out, had family time. And it was about Father's Day weekend, right? So fathers, I want to challenge you to do a couple things, and I'll get to this really quickly. Number one is it's summertime's here now, and the kids are out of school, and I know some of us are the mentality that, well, the wife takes care of everything, and I'll just work, and and that's the key thing. That's all that's needed. I challenge you to stop. And think about this. Every day we don't spend, that we have the opportunity to spend with our kids, the day we lose. And yeah, we're working, and yeah, we got all these other things going on. But listen to me. Listen to what I'm about to say to you, because I know for a fact I've had some of this in my own life. Right? And the pain of discipline is less than the pain of regret. And what do I mean by discipline? I mean, look at your schedule, discipline yourself to put down the phone when it's family time. Discipline yourself that if you say you're going to do something on the weekend, yet you do it with your family. If you say anything around your family, you honor that, right? And hey, listen, I know when that call comes and you got something going on, first thing you got to do is handle that call. But I challenge you, look at the summer and do something different this summer, all right? Because our kids need us, right? They need us more than ever. Mom and dad, our kids need us more than ever. There is so much going on in the schools and in and around bullying and the information that they get. Woo! We should have a whole show about kids and all that stuff, because I think it's so important that we pay attention to what's not being said, right? What's not being said. Anyway, you can tell I'm pretty passionate about that, right? I mean, I have 3 little grandbabies and my daughter's a teacher. So anyway, so that's one thing. So we talked about that. And now here's the other thing I'm going to give you. Don't be controlled by what you don't have control over. That's your homework. What is it that is affecting you right now that you don't have control over? What do you mean, Geoff? Hey, here's a couple examples. One, sitting around the dinner table talking about the price of gas, right? I mean, how many times is that conversation going to come up before you are just like overwhelmed or the cost of food? All those things are going to go up, right? But I'm going to say this to you too. And my thinking is this, and listen to me when I say this to you. The American dream is still real. There's an opportunity still out there. They just are not handing them out. Now's your time. If you don't have the money to buy gas, now's your time to step into something you've always wanted to do. Create your own business. Follow your path. We have options here. That's my message. All right. So we have options to do that. Thank you for letting me share that. Those are 2 things that are heavy on my heart. So now we're going to just have an introduction to my friend from Ontario, Canada, baby. Yes, this woman is she's a server. She's a giver. She's a cancer thriver. She talks about it too. She's divorced at 50 and proud, right? I mean, just a lot of different things. She's a healer. She's on the journey of, physical touch and healing. She had, my chair just kind of did that. That was kind of funny, right? Good thing it didn't fall, man. That would have really been funny. Anyway, all right, where was I? Oh, boy, anybody can do this, right? So back to what I was talking about, my guest. And she's a healer, has a podcast, 50 and free. Freedom starts now, on all kinds of things. Ladies and gentlemen, help us welcome to Conversations with Geoff from Ontario, Canada, my friend and our guest, Karen Theimer. Let me see if I can hit this button right. Oh, yeah. Come on, Karen. There we are.
Oh, my God. I can't stop laughing with your chair.
It was like, ah!
Please don't fall down. I'm worried about my lighting here.
You see the bottom of my feet going up right at the back.
That was pretty funny. Sorry. I'm glad you didn't injure yourself, because I can't from Ontario when you're in Houston.
Yeah, but nobody came to help me either. I've been sitting there a long time, man. So it's all good. So welcome, my friend.
Thank you for the warm welcoming, and I'm excited to share my story with everybody. And I love what you were saying. I love how you open up, and share stories and stuff. And I love what you talked about with the kids. And I do feel like you could have a whole podcast or show on that. Yeah. And, and control. What do we have control? And we can talk about control in our conversation if you'd like.
Yeah. And actually, we were kind of talking about that before we hopped on.
Yes.
Right? I mean, about letting go of control.
Yeah.
And so, well, just take a second. And I know we're 50 and free now, but, how was life for you kind of, growing up? I mean, you always from Canada. Where were you originally? Come tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll get into what's up.
Sure. Born and raised in Toronto. and just live just north of Toronto. So I'm still in the same more or less area. Baby of 4. Let's see, what else can I tell you? Yeah, life has been interesting. Didn't get along with my dad growing up and stuff. Him and I butted heads a lot. And it's amazing how that shows up in my life today and the things I've done around that, because I hated him for years. But I learned over the years through my healing journey to forgive and let go and be grateful for the good stuff, right? So I worked with dogs for 25 years, 23 years, something like that. Got burnt out and went back to school at the age of 40. Well, what am I going to do? Never had a university degree. I hated school growing up. So, and also as a teenager, I was a rebel, got into the drugs, got into all the bad scene, hung out with the bad boys, like all that kind of stuff. And there was that little voice in my head saying, no, this is not the way you're going. So I stopped hanging out with those people, right? And cleaned up my act, right? So I can relate to so many different things. Anyway, so I went back to school at the age of 40. And I thought, well, what am I going to do? Like, I have no university, I have no college, nothing. Like I graduated from grade 12, and that's about it for my education, right? So anyway, I actually sold my business, went back to school and became a massage therapist. And I thought, I did like the prereq course and thought, okay, if I do well in this, then I know I'm ready to go back to school and invest. Right? So I went back. So I loved it. I was like, oh my God, this learning stuff is fun. Right? Because I hated it. I hated it in school. I'm like, who cares about algebra? Well, for me anyway, I didn't care about, all these things. I'm like, I don't want to read these books that all has to do with war. So I didn't like school growing up. Right. Anyway, so I went back to school and I started learning about the body and how the body works. And I remember learning about neurology going, wow, this is amazing. Like, this is how our body works and neurology and the cells and yada, yada. Some of it I can't remember. Some of it I do, but it's all good. It's all good. But I was fascinated in the body, right? So anyway, graduated from school, started my business. It was a 2-year program, started my massage business. And one day I was kind of massaging my neck and I felt this lump. And I was like, oh, I thought it was just swollen glands. Didn't think anything of it. Now I was a big smoker. I ate fast food like it was going out of style. I did not have a healthy lifestyle. And then I felt like a hypocrite or an imposter, because here I am, like, going to preach about health and their body to people, and I'm smoking, eating Big Macs every day, right? I was exaggerating about the Big Macs, but the smoking was, right?
Gotcha.
Anyway, so every day, so I thought, what, maybe it's time to quit smoking. I've tried quitting smoking 1,000,001 times and failed, right? And I remember one day it was like I didn't smoke for, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 hours, something like that. It was a long time. And I thought, wow, look at me go. I'm doing amazing. I've quit smoking, yada, yada, yada. Get in my car, found a half a cigarette, lit it up. And I still see this to this day, looking in the mirror, the rearview mirror, and going, you idiot. What would it take for you to quit smoking? 2 weeks later, I found out I had cancer. So be careful what you put out to the universe, because whether you believe it or not, it's listening, good or bad. It doesn't matter. This, So I was like, oh, that was my holy crap moment. One of my holy crap moments. And I thought, okay. And then people had told me that, I hear the word cancer, and then it's like, okay, what do I need to do to get it out? Right. So then it was like, okay, I guess I need to quit smoking, because someone told me, that, oh, you can't have surgery unless you quit smoking. The doctors won't work on you. So I was like, oh, geez, I guess I got to quit smoking, right? Anyway, so I tried different things, and I read this book by an author named Alan Carr, Easy Way to Quit Smoking. Great book. You still have to be ready to quit. It doesn't matter. There's so many different things you could do, right?
That's right.
Yeah, you still have to be ready. And by the time I was finished that book, I remember smoking my last cigarette going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm done. That was it. Had the surgery. And then I still felt like crap afterwards. I'm trying to shorten up the story a little bit, but I met this holistic nutritionist. I worked in a sports clinic. She came in, she was a speaker, and she started talking about how food can heal the body. And she talked about inflammation and how there's inflammatory foods and non-inflammatory foods, and, foods that create inflammation, that kind of stuff. And I just was like, okay. So I started talking about it with my clients. I'm like, okay, well, why don't I just go back to school? So I went back to school, learned about holistic nutrition, learned how nutrition can heal the body, and was fascinated in it. And I just thought, wow, this is amazing. You want to find those apples that have the scab on it, because that means they had an immune system. You don't want the shiny apples. Just a little tip for you. Right?
Hey, thank you, because I'm an apple eater, so I'm gonna look for the scabbies. Okay.
Yeah, don't get the shiny ones because there's a lot of pesticides on them, right? So just a little tip. Anyway, where was I? All right. So went back to school, did that, holistic nutrition.
Yep.
And then fast forwarding, I was turning 50 and I was married for, I don't know, 15, 16 years, something like that. And I was married, great guy. But I remember thinking to myself, okay, this is how the first part of my life looked like. How do I want to live the second?
Wow.
Because I felt like at the time my dreams weren't coming true. I didn't even know what those dreams were, but I just knew it wasn't happening. And I kept saying there's got to be more to life than what I'm living.
Yeah.
Life threw me another curveball and I became single at 50. So I was like, oh gosh, now what do I do? Well, at the same time, my marriage ended. Network marketing showed up in my life.
All right.
Right. So I was like, I don't need another business. I need to focus. I'm a single income now. I need to find a place to live. The holy crap moment. What am I going to do? But at the same time, this business, it was like a mosquito just buzzing around, right? Like, I'm giving you this is the universe. I'm giving you the here, but I'm so focused over here.
Yeah.
So anyway, I ended up, to make a long story long or short, I ended up joining the company, right? I really liked the community. I loved the products. I had my own testimonial and I loved the people. It was just like this high energy, good vibration, whatever. I didn't even know. I just liked the community, right?
Yeah.
Actually having a conversation about that last night. Anyway, went to an event a year later. And I remember the host of the show, Eric Worre, had said, if your life hasn't changed in the last year, and then go find out what your blocks are. So I was like, well, my life hasn't changed. My business hasn't changed. I'm still living in my past. I'm depressed. I feel like crap. Now what? Right? So, okay. So I went up to one of my mentors and I said, okay, Dr. Bob, I have this thing called a block. I don't even know what a block is, but how do I get rid of it? Right? Nothing's changed in the last, I would say 2-3 years or whatever. Right?
Yeah, that's powerful.
So he said, I said, what do I do? He goes, go find a coach that understands the mind, the body, that understands network marketing, all that kind of stuff. So that's what I did. I asked around and found a coach who does NLP. And I started learning about how the mind and body works, how our subconscious mind. And I was fascinated. I didn't like my coach at the time because she was tapping into things I wasn't ready to tap into.
Yes.
I look back now and oh my God, she changed my life. I actually reached out to her and said, I'm sorry if I was not like, anyway, it's all good, right? She gets it, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I started diving deeper, learning about Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, learning about Esther Hicks, all these people. And I started learning about the mind and body and how they work. And it was fascinating, such a fascinating place.
Yes.
Then in 2018, and please tell me if I'm talking too much, but in 2018, there's a purpose to it. There's a method to the madness.
Yeah,
but
go ahead, you're doing fine. Go ahead, girl.
Awesome. In 2018, I was like, okay, I am stuck in my past. I couldn't let go of my ex-husband. I was pissed that he got another girlfriend, and then I went through all this stuff. And I was just like, there's got to be more. Well, a close friend of mine, who's one of the top leaders in this company, said, and she kept planting seeds in my mind, right? Anyway, in 2018, I decided to go on a healing journey, which changed my life. I had no idea we carry lineage stuff. Our cells hold on to memory. Whose memory is it? I thought this stuff was all hokey pokey, right? Yeah. So till I learned that it's actually not. It is a real thing. Yeah. So I started diving into this healing journey. And as I started to let go and forgive, and I'm still going through it. I mean, it's like, we're like peeling an onion, right?
Yes.
It's just
Yep.
layer after layer after layer. We need to get awareness before we can heal it. And then we need to feel it to heal it.
Yeah.
And so on, right? But through this journey, I have now been diving deeper into mind, body, spirit, how this all works together. How can I now make a difference? How can I get out of my way?
Yeah.
How can I be compassionate? How can I be a better listener? So when we had the first lockdown, because I've been wanting to coach for like ever, right?
Gotcha.
And I coach people anyway. I just never made it into a business, right? So as a massage therapist. But anyway, and I started to when we had the first lockdown, I was like, oh my God, what do I do? I had to shut down my business, right? Thank God I had the network marketing company because that was still bringing in income.
Right.
My massage therapy business.
Gone.
Because it was done. It was done.
Yeah.
Right? We didn't know how long that was going to be. What was it? 2-3 months?
Yeah.
It was the kick in the butt that I needed.
Wow.
Because I was like, okay, I need to pivot. I need to put on my, I don't know, big girl pants, whatever, put on my pants and go, okay, Karen, time to buckle down and let's see, time to pivot in the business. Okay.
Right.
This is where I got the rebranding, 50 and free.
Love it.
How 50 and free got birthed. And then I started, my friend, she built her business in media and, she's like, you would be great on podcasts. So I was like, okay, but I'm really scared to speak because if you'd asked me this 5 years ago, if I would do this, there's no way.
It's crazy. You're doing great. You're doing great.
Yeah. So anyway, so I decided to learn more about coaching, and now I'm actually going to be taking a course soon as well to add more tools in. I've got the podcast, network market. I started learning about different streams of income as well. So
yeah. You're doing it. I want to back you up a little bit. Thanks for sharing too.
Yeah, no problem. That was a long share, but that's okay.
But they're all kind of tied together, and I was taking notes here, and we talked about, recently, and this is really important for people. That you talked about lineage or luggage. You talked about, surrendering. You talked about, some things that opened up a whole nother level of understanding in your life, and how that fits. But remember we were talking earlier before we came on about how, the last two divine interventions came along, in terms of the meditations. Remember? It was like you were at a certain spot and the meditation showed up and you took the meditation and it was exactly what you needed at the time. It just happened this past weekend or a couple of weekends ago. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, I go to these retreats and it's a deep healing journey with plant medicine. And what it does is it kind of shows you, we're really good as humans bearing stuff. We bury our emotion. We're taught that very young. Don't show emotion. Don't get angry. Don't get sad. Don't show tears, all that. Right.
Yeah.
I like I said, I've learned that we carry past traumas. I used to have a fear of getting tortured, like really tortured. And I'm like, where does this fear come from? My grandmother was a survivor of the Holocaust.
Wow.
That's their fear, right? I mean, that's a whole other conversation. But the weekend that you're talking about, it really showed me how much I don't trust. Up here, I do, but subconsciously, that little Karen does not trust the process. Why? Because I had my own traumas as a kid.
Right.
I've shut that down. It's like, I don't trust you because you're not there to protect me.
Right.
So as we get older, we get these things and it's like, oh yeah, I trust the process. What do I do instead? I procrastinate. I become a perfectionist. I will do anything in my power not to do anything. Right. So this is how it shows up, but it shows up for a reason. Right. So what I learned that weekend was this medicine, it shows you certain things. And it's like, no, that can't be right.
Yeah.
It can't be about self-love.
Yeah.
It can't be about being kind to ourselves. It's got to be something darker, right?
Right. It's gonna be a lot worse.
Right? She's the medicine. They call it the grandmother, but it's like it's trying to show you some self-love. It's trying to show you to be kind to yourself. It will amplify the talk. But anyway,
Right.
bottom line is that's probably very confusing because I'm being a little bit vague about it. But bottom line is I learned that how much I don't trust the process.
Right. And,
Right.
so, and process, when you say process, what are you really saying? When you say you don't trust the process, what does that mean?
It means that I'm doing the work in my head. I'm doing the social media. I'm reaching out to people. I'm following up with people, and I'm not getting that instant gratification.
Right.
Right. So the process is about, you work, say you're working out at a gym or you're working out at home, doesn't matter. And you don't, and within like 2 weeks, I've been really good at exercising every day and I'm not buff and I haven't got rid of those love handles. Right. So what does one do? They give up.
Right.
Because as humans, we want that instant gratification, right? I've been on a diet I hate the word diet, but we've been on healthier eating choices, but we don't feel that instant gratification. That's what I mean by the process.
Right? No, I get it. Yeah, that I was one for people that can hear that, because I was with you there. That makes that. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah,
because a lot of people suffer from that, and so continue. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, this is where patience comes in.
That's right.
And one day I was exercising and it just, I don't know, this light bulb went off. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is about the stepping stones. This is where another aha, where this is about the journey, day-to-day journey. This is what I coach people on, right? To enjoy the journey and to journal it at night, because this is what I've started. This is how I'm building trust in what's happening and what I'm doing, right? Because I feel like, oh my God, I'm doing all this work, but I don't have, the 7 figures and, I don't have this. And then it's like, well, wait a minute. It's the process to get to where I need to go, where I would like to go. So, so it's just, and then I realized it's the stepping stones. It's like, okay, today I'm going to exercise. Wow, look at me go. We really have to praise ourselves, right?
Celebrate ourselves. That's right.
That's what I was thinking of. Celebrate.
Right. Yes.
Like, wow, look at that. Okay, if I do this tomorrow, that just gets me that one step further.
That's right. That's right.
Maybe in a year, if I continue, as I continue to, and it's all about the wording as well.
Right.
That's what I teach people on is the power of the word. So so it's the stepping stones.
Yeah.
But I wasn't trusting those stepping stones until I realized that last week.
Well, hey, but you know what? Those stepping stones it's the little steps that add up, to the time and the discipline that we talked about earlier. And just doing it again, even though you don't see the results.
Yeah.
And having faith in the fact that change is coming, just not on your time frame.
Yeah. And then for me, what I've learned how to build trust for myself is like, okay, let's tune into the little voice, not the voice that's telling you you're not good enough, you're an idiot, you're fat, you're whatever, not that voice. That voice we want to put away. That little voice that says to do something that's good.
Yeah.
It has to be a positive thing. So I thought to myself, okay, well, I was telling you this earlier, right? Because these 2 shamans that are a part of my journey said, call on your spirit guides and your angels. Well, I don't know anything about this, right? I hear it all the time and I'm like, okay, maybe now's the time to listen.
That's right.
Like just listen and trust, right? Meditate. There really is the method to the madness in meditation, which I'm working on, right? But we can't get the answers to where we need to go until we quieten this.
Yes.
Right? Yes. So the other day, and I was saying to you earlier that I was out for a walk and I'm like, okay, spirit guides, master guides, angels, all of you, please protect me for one. And I go through my little thing. I said, I'm new to this. I don't know what I'm doing, but show me a sign that I'm on the right path. But show me what it is that I need in a way that I will recognize.
Right.
What's happening and what's showing up in our lives. A lot of people. So like I said, I came back home. My phone gets a notification. And what shows up is this meditation from YouTube from someone, I don't even know who she is, of getting connected to your spirit guides. Wow. And I was like, shit, this stuff works. And I was saying, I was like going, okay, maybe I'll do it later. Not now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You have to have your own, everybody who's listening, you have to have your own conversation with yourself because you're
Yes.
the little one, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so it was like, just for me, I was like, okay, Karen, well, what else? What are you doing? What is so important that you're doing right now? Nothing. I'm surfing on the social media, flicking through my emails. What, I can't
Yeah.
take 20 minutes to meditate? Okay,
That's right.
if I want to build trust, then I have to pay attention to what's happening.
That's right.
Sat down, did the meditation, and it was amazing. It was exactly what I needed. It was 20
Mm.
minutes, you know?
Mm.
So now I'm really moving forward from that day. It's really about paying attention. What do I need? Show me in a way that I can recognize.
Yes.
Pay
Yes.
attention to what's being shown. Whether you think it's weird or not, it doesn't matter. You're being shown what you're supposed to be doing.
I love the idea of show me what it is so I can recognize it. Help me be able to recognize whatever it is, even if what I heard you saying in that experience was, I think there's something there, and I don't know how I'm going to get there, and I'm going to do all these things so I don't get there, but you found your way there anyway. Kind of on that little surrenders.
Yeah.
Along the way, and so I think trusting the fact that some other things have shown up in your life, and you kind of just let it just take you to the end result. And then you're like, oh, wow.
And your brain learns through repetition. You have to hear things 8 million times until that light bulb goes on.
Yeah.
Right? To go, oh, that's what they're saying.
That's right. So that 8 million once time is the one that and you don't give up and you stay in there and do that. Yeah. So I made a couple notes. Let me see. You just have to trust in the strength of the apples. So, we talked back in the beginning, and this is for people that are maybe, kind of just entering into the journey and some of the things that they, are really kind of all the way back in early childhood. You shared a little bit about your father, and not that, it affects you as much now, but talk about what it was when you went back and you remember, your relationship with your father earlier on, how it ended up going sideways. Can you share that for me?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. When I remembered and had the visual of the, in my mind, abuse, right? I didn't want to go there.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't like this feeling.
Yeah.
Because it was, and I'm still working through it. I'm working on the forgiveness on a deeper level, forgiveness of myself, and forgiveness on his part, and feeling it. But it's like, there was a part of me. It's like I wanted to just start bawling my eyes out, and I felt like I still couldn't.
Yeah,
well, that's something I'm working through. It's like, because this is stuff that holds us back. Of where we feel like we're not good enough. My dad didn't love me. Why would he hurt me? Why would this happen? Why would that happen? Why would these, whatever. I could go on about it.
Right.
But this is where this is how it shows up in life. We're not good enough. Nobody loves me. We might get into bad relationships, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So someone took me through a guided meditation and was like, okay, if you could see your dad, take yourself back to that place, that time.
Yep.
And what would you say to your dad? And I didn't like that feeling.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but I know it's important for me it's important to go back to that time, not relive it.
That's right. That's right.
Don't be a victim with it, because I'm not that 5-year-old kid or 10-year-old kid anymore. Yeah. It's knowing that you're safe.
Yeah.
Right. Because you're there, your little child is there to protect you, even if it's anyway. But so it's something where for me, it is still important to feel it, let go. So that's sort of what I've been going through the last couple of weeks. It's like, oh my God. But it's amazing how this has helped me move my life, my business, and all this forward.
Yeah, I can just see from our last conversation last week and today, I can feel from you, the freedom from that. There's something about the gift of forgiving and surrendering, ourselves and whoever harmed us, so that we can move forward. Right?
Yeah, because hanging on to this stuff is not helping you. It becomes your identity, and people will let this become their identity. They become the victim. It's their fault, not your own,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But there's no forgiveness, right? I'm going to hang on to that because this is my story that I've been hanging on to my entire life.
Yeah.
Who am I? Welcome to chronic pain. Who am I without this pain?
Right.
Who am I without this trauma, that I keep reliving and reliving by sharing the story? I share my story not to relive it, but to help inspire and maybe help somebody else out who might be going through the same thing.
Yeah, or the similarities in the story may be different, but the pain, the hope, the limitations that were created from our past and our experiences are the same. Whether it may not have been abused physically, it could have been something else.
That's right.
Seek for the common threads in the stories, right? And that's why I just wanted you to just share, where you were and all that stuff today, because there are a lot of people out there that need to hear your message. I believe that, and there's so much more of you that, we unfortunately, we don't have the time to. So as we start to wind down, how do people reach you? Take a moment, and I know you talked about therapy with kind of, hey, I'm doing these things, so that people could hear that, and maybe we can even get it in the chat for you so they can reach out to you, because I think it'll be a great way to learn some things from you.
Absolutely. I would love to have a conversation. If anybody is listening and feels like they just, want to learn more about my story or how I can help them, enjoy what life we have, I'd be more than happy to connect. So you can go to my website, 50andfree.ca, spell it out. So that's one way to connect with me. I am on social media. I'm on Facebook and Instagram under my name. And I think Instagram is 50andfree_Karen. And or just look up my name, one of the two. And there's lots of cool things coming down the pipeline. I have my podcast, like you mentioned earlier, called Freedom Starts Now. And that's really about making a decision, saying, I'm done. I want to get a better life. So,
that was a really fun time being on your show there. What about the events you do on Fridays at noon?
Oh,
yeah. Talk about that.
Yeah. So I do laughter yoga. You want to bring out that inner child and play again, come to my laughter yoga, although I am switching days, so stay tuned for that. I was doing it on Fridays, but I'm noticing a lot of people, especially through the summer, are away. So I'm probably going to change that to Mondays, I think at 12 Eastern time, but stay tuned. I will announce that. But laughter yoga is a half an hour of just being a kid again and laughing. I take you through a bit of a meditation and letting go. And soon I will be doing breath work as well. Another powerful healing tool, right?
Yeah, well, that laughter and yoga, you took us through. We met the power of technology and the beauty of my experiences in COVID. We met in an early morning group on Wednesdays, and she took us through a little bit of that exercise, the laughter piece, and it works, and there's so much energy we derive from laughter, so much freedom, and so check that stuff out, ladies and gentlemen. And if it's not in the chat now, we'll make sure that you can get a hold of her. So let me just see here. I make sure you don't get away without.
Would it be okay to share? I don't know how much time, but would it be okay to share one thing?
Yeah, I was going to say, is there anything else that you'd like to share? We're at that spot, so please.
If that's okay, thank you.
Come on with it. Yeah.
Something you said in your intro about control. And I just want to share this quickly. I promise I won't gab on. Control. What is it you actually have control over? And I'll share with you what you actually only have control over.
Yes, let's hear it.
Outside noise, right? What you eat, what you say, what you do, and what you think. That is what you have control over. I think I'm missing one more. That is it. That is all you have control over. I have no control over you. I have no control over what's happening in the world. I have no control. This is all just noise. If you come back to going, okay, what do I have control? Because you don't have control of what the government and the politicians are doing. And
not at all.
None. Zero. Right? Or what your family is doing or what your friends are doing or whatever. Anyway, I just wanted to share that. That's a great.
No, that's important, and you're right. There's something we talk about, the atmosphere, our attitudes, our emotions, choices we make, and just think about if more of us paid attention to what we can control, and focused on that each day, right? I mean, how much more vibrant would we be? How much more would the communities come together? How much more would, instead of being polarized, how can we bring people together by being open and thinking not of ourselves, but of how we may serve them. So, and that whole control thing is just, man.
Yeah. Control things that we can't control.
Yeah, and the nice thing about it in our country is that you want to start a business tomorrow, you go down the street and you register with the state and you're in business, right? I mean, there's more to it than that, but the power we have, the choices we can make to make a difference financially, are just incredible. So, now. Man, this has been fun. I'm looking at the clock thinking, oh man, I better.
Oh, sorry. I'm chatting Kathy today.
Well, I knew that was going to be here, and I'm glad we were able to just let you roll, because there's a lot to this, and I encourage people to go back and listen to it again, and make sure you tap into some of the services that she's promoting, from her experiences with the laughter and yoga on Fridays. That's all the way down to some really serious things, and follow her on her journey, right? To being humble enough to share, right? And the humility in this woman, as you guys can see, it is powerful.
Thank
you. So you're going to get what you need from her. Any other parting words? I mean, I got 2 more minutes. Any other parting words that you'd like to drop on us before you get out of here?
I would say for anybody who's listening, just if you're tired of the way your life is going, or tired of the way you've lived your life, and you're looking for a change, make the decision. It starts with a decision of going, I'm done with this, because that's my story. I'm done with this. Who do I need to reach out to? Do I need a coach? Do I need, I don't know, whatever it is. But start going on what I call a healing journey, because you don't have to live the way you've been living. If you want something better, then make that decision to have something better.
Yeah.
It starts with you.
It does.
Nobody
make
else.
that decision. I love it. Make one decision.
Yeah.
And if I could tag on to that before you go, I look back over my life when things got to a point where they had to change. I made a decision to change and took action. I didn't worry about how it was going to happen. I made the decision and I attached myself to something different. So I agree 100% with that statement. And again, thank you. Time just flew by. For those of you watching later on and hitting the replay, make sure you dial her up. And if you can't get a hold of her, then come back to us and we'll make sure you get connected. This woman is 50 and free, baby. And and there's so much that she has to offer and willing to give to you. So, Karen, thank you so much.
Thank you, Geoff. I had so much fun as always. I love your energy. So
thank you. Back at you, my friend. And I didn't fall out of the chair, though.
Yeah, don't fall down. And one day I'm going to be in Texas and I'm going to come down and visit.
Hey, we look forward to it. I told you before, man. Just let us know. We'll have a great time. So
it will happen.
All right. Looking forward to it, Karen.
All right. Take care.
I'll see you later. Thanks a lot now. All right. I'll be here with you in a second.
Okay.
Hey, what'd I tell you? Huh? I mean, man, I got a page full of notes here and all the things she talked about and the last part she closed on, making that decision, right? And that's what we started out with, kind of having a choice. Make a different decision every morning, right? And remember, how we change the conversation with ourselves about ourselves is the greatest gift we can give ourselves, right? So you've heard from someone today that's humble, has got a lot of things going on, right, and willing to serve. So make sure you reach out and get a hold of her, all right, and stay in touch. If you can't reach out and find her, then let us know. We can help you find her, all right? So a couple quick things to close. I talked about it at the beginning. Happy birthday again to our marketing director, the brains and the powerhouse, right? Steph, thank you so much for all the things you do, and Karen's links and my links are in the chat. And I want to just talk about some things we have coming up from the real estate side. We're really thinking about a 3-day challenge, the power of the bridge. We're working out the dates now, but it's going to be specific to a certain type of professional entrepreneur, 35 older, with a 6-figure income that's used to investing in themselves, that really wants to figure out how to start investing in real estate without losing your butt, wasting time, and staying confused, right? A clear, simple path to get started, which we do with the Done With You training program. But anyway, check out the challenge. And also wanted to ask, we're really thinking of creating, we've been asked to kind of do a mindset type mastermind. And if there's some subjects out there, I've got one. So I'm just going to say the subject that people say, Geoff, you talk about changing the conversation with myself, about myself all the time. I really don't know where to start, right? So some 4-step process and kind of where you start. So if anybody thinks that would be beneficial, you're hearing that later, say, hop in and say, heck yeah, Geoff, let's do that. Right? Looking at a weekend coming up soon, but it's how you really actually begin to change the conversation, the steps necessary to change the conversations, the practices necessary to change the conversation with yourself about yourself. All right. So I think I've got everything covered. Let me make sure. Thank you everyone for listening today, man. It's been a great show. And boy, oh boy, make sure you follow Karen. All right. And the podcast is a great thing to check out too. So anyway, thank you all for showing up today. Again, happy birthday to Steph. And check out the links and subscribe, share, subscribe. And we'll see you next time, baby. All right. Appreciate everybody and have a fabulous day. Conversations with Geoff. We're out. Bye-bye.